So do you always follow your gut feeling? If I were to ask you, would you be one of those that would say, oh my God, doesn't matter what decision it is, I always follow my gut feeling, it's always right, I trust it, I never waver from it. I am a firm believer that my gut feeling is the best way to make a decision. It's probably what most people would say, right? Well, let me ask you something. I'm going to try and ask this really loving. But if that's true, if you always trust your gut feeling and it's always right, then how many divorces do you have? How many toxic relationships have you been in? How many narcissists have you dated? What's your relationship like with your friends and your kids? How's your health? What about your career? What about your financial situation? Are you in the perfect career that you always dreamed of? Are you living the financial life that you feel you deserve and want? The vast majority of people is polled by, I was going to say Google, it's not the name of it, Gallup has shown for decades, 93% of people are unhappy. Well, if we're always following our gut feeling, why are 93% of the people on the planet unhappy? Well, welcome back. In today's video, that's what we're going to talk about. What people don't realize is they don't know that their gut feeling is what I like to call their trauma gut. It's not their authentic gut feeling. There's a massive difference between the two, and I wrote about it in my book, Your Journey to Success. Everyone on this planet, nearly everyone, is almost always following their trauma gut, not their true gut feeling. And they don't know it. They are caught in what I call the worst day cycle. Now I'm going to explain to you a little bit of how this works. Obviously, it's a much bigger process than this short little video. But basically, what's happening is this. Our brain formed in 3 pieces, all right? It evolved. We didn't come like this. Our brain as a species has evolved. First, there was the first part of the brain to form was the instinctual part. The second was the emotional. The third was cognition, our ability to talk and think. All right? Now, I want you to think about childhood. How does childhood start? When we're born, are we able to talk, think, and make sense of the world? Of course not. We're basically just an instinctual animal. Our mouth moves for food, like we extricate ourselves, like we're just pure instinct. How do we try and communicate? With our emotion, right? We scream, we cry, we communicate, we're hungry, we're tired. That's how we navigate the world. What comes last? After a couple of years and developing 4 years, the ability to talk and think. So what people don't realize is we become the first 3 years of our life, really the first 7. But our primary personality and who we will develop into as an adult and the gut feeling that we will use gets created in the first 3 years of life. Now, have you ever met a parent who is a god, meaning they're perfect? I haven't met one. What that means is every single one of us had caretakers that were perfectly imperfect, and they made mistakes. There were times they were tired and couldn't take care of us, times they didn't have the money to feed us. They divorced, they fought. There were all of these imperfections. Now, because as an infant we have no boundaries, we are just instinct and emotion, all of their emotional energy comes right into us. Do you see how our gut feeling is being created? It's being created by the emotional makeup of our parents. Well, have we ever as a society taught how to handle our emotions? Up until recently, like you even mentioned the word emotion, oh my God, no, that makes you weak. There's something wrong with you if you're into emotion at all. We are how would I want to characterize this? It's my belief that the next frontier as a species has nothing to do with technology. It's in emotional development, because for the first time we're actually starting to talk about it, investigate it, and even research emotions. So the next wave, as I say, the most emotionally advanced person on this planet probably operates at a kindergarten, first grade level of what we're capable of emotionally, because we've never taught it. We've never investigated or really know exactly, we just learned about codependence the last, 50 years. A lot of these dynamics, parenting dynamics, all these things didn't even really get started until the last 100 years is when we really started to look at, human development at a deeper level, at a real level. 100 years, that's it. And mostly the last 50. And so most people aren't even aware of a lot of the terms I talk about. Well, imagine 100 years from now when they are the common language, how much more developed. We might get to third, fourth, fifth grade emotionally. Think of how much better the world would run politically, socially, if we were more emotionally mature. Because what's happening in the world today, everyone's freaking out emotionally because we haven't developed this. We are all caught in our trauma gut, repeating the worst day cycle. The pain of our childhood, the pain that was dumped into us by our parents because they weren't taught how to navigate their emotions. So because as a child, our makeup, our personality, and our gut instincts get placed into us, really the emotions get placed into us as an infant, the quality of our intuition completely depends on how well we have classified the emotions that accompany the experiences we have. Well, look at the first 7 years of life. How can we, in a quality way, classify our emotions if we're an infant to 7 years old? We don't have the intellect to classify things. So we make up interpretations around our parents, around the world, around our feelings, around everything that are really distorted. Let me ask you, would you let an infant to 7-year-old make extreme life decisions for you? Of course not. They don't have the intellectual or emotional development. Well, that's where we form our gut instinct. It's been placed into us and it's been classified by an infant. Remember, the personality gets formed in the first 7 years of life, and so people think they're an adult. They think they've grown out of that. That studies show that's not what happens. 95% of our adult life, we are reliving our subconscious brain. Let me ask you this. What thoughts have you been thinking the last week? They're all the same, aren't they? What problem are you facing intellectually and emotionally? It's been the same problem. You still say the same things. You've been saying them for years. You've been running into the same problem for years. You just repeat what you learned in those first 7 years. And studies show 70% of all information our parents place into us is negative, hurtful, self-sabotaging. Not because they're bad people and they're not to blame. This isn't about blaming parents. This is just about being real. We're human. We make mistakes. We've never taught this stuff, so we're not going to do it very well. That doesn't make our parents bad. It's like, I don't know, asking them to build a house and they've never held a hammer. It's not going to be the best house, and that's literally how we parent. We've never taught how to build a house. So that's why your gut feeling isn't working for you. You're replaying it. So the question becomes, how do you turn it around? Well, obviously, this is a multi-layered process. I've written a whole book on it. I have masterclasses on it. I teach my clients this. I can't give you the whole process in this short video, but I'm going to give you the basics because to stop reliving the worst day cycle, to stop living out of your trauma gut and access your authentic gut feeling before the trauma got placed into you, you have to learn some basic skills and tools to start shifting the way you feel, all right? Now, the first thing to recognize is, what am I feeling? I've talked about this in countless videos. Go to my website, www.thegreatnessuniversity.com. Go to the free content button, and you'll see right at the bottom, there's a feelings wheel. Just download that. Keep that with you. And for the next week, ask yourself 3 to 5 times a day, what am I feeling? Look at that list. Where in my body do I feel it? Because we store all emotional memories in our body, not our brain. This is the body-mind connection. Our emotion is about our body. So what am I feeling? Where in my body do I feel it? And what's my first memory of feeling this? Now, what most people will do will remember something within the last year. Then what's your next memory? They'll remember something within 5 years and just keep chipping back. And what you're going to see is your trauma gut replaying and your worst day cycle. How you have repeated this feeling over and over and over and over, and you'll finally arrive at the first time you experienced this pain in childhood. When your parents did this, your brother did it, whatever it was. And that's the proof that you're stuck, even though you're an adult, you are living your life as a child. You're just reliving that feeling over and over and over. That's why you're stuck in your trauma gut. So for the first time in your life, you at least have an awareness of, oh, well, no wonder I keep picking narcissists, or I keep ending up. I have this pattern has been replaying since I was an infant. I didn't know that. Ah, well, now I know it. So there's the awareness piece, all right? The next step is this, is that feeling is to find out what the opposite of it is, all right? So ask yourself this: who and what would I be, what would I think, feel, do, and be if I never had this thought or feeling again? So we started here, you were tracking your feelings, and you notice these negative feelings, and you ask yourself, after going through and realizing, okay, it all started back here in childhood, now I ask myself, who would I be if I never had this thought or feeling ever again? What's left over? Well, what would you feel? Excited, empowered, light, strong, safe. That's the authentic you. That's your intuition and authentic emotion with all the pain taken out, all the pain that your parents and life itself has placed into you. Now you've just found the authentic fill in the blank for your name. That's you without your pain. And that's the proof that no matter how bad your life has been, no matter how bad your trauma has been, we can always re-access our authentic self. That's all you have to do. So right now you have just felt for the first time in your life what it feels like to be you. Sit. This is step number, well, really 3. Step number 3, sit in that feeling. 10 minutes a day, 3 times a day. What would it feel like to be me? To be free of all this, to be strong, powerful, safe, secure, wealthy, whatever it is. What would it feel like to be me? Remember, our gut instinct, our feelings, what we repeat are all based on our interpretation. We are stuck replaying the worst day cycle. We are stuck repeating the trauma gut because we are stuck firing the exact same emotions that have been firing since we were a child. Because remember, our brain seeks to repeat what it knows. It doesn't like anything new. And so whether it's good or bad doesn't matter. It will repeat destructive emotions and destructive thoughts. Our brain and body actually gets addicted to them, and that's why this loop happens. So for us to stop that addiction to our trauma gut, get into our authentic gut feeling, we have to feel something different. 3 times a day, sit in the feeling of what it would be like to be you. Final little tip is then to wake up each day and ask yourself, because to be different, to have a different life, a different person in your life, a different career and everything, you have to change your life. The person you are that got you here isn't going to get you to this new life, right? Because this is all based on your past pain. You're going to have to change. Right? So that means the things you think about all day, every day have to be different. The choices you make have to be different. The people you hang out have to be different. The interests that you have, like, you have to change. Well, many people don't know that and don't know how to do that. So this is the next question is every day, like I do this. I wake up every morning and I go, I can't wait to see what person, place, or thing brings me the solution that I need to become the person I want to be. Because do you see the trauma gut and everything, my gut feeling says, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to fix it this way. Well, my life keeps repeating, it never changes. So obviously my belief about the situation and what needs to change is wrong. My thinking keeps getting me here. So a new solution that I've never even thought of, and I can't think of it until I change, has to come out of somewhere else. And so that's why I can't wait to see what new thought, or person, place, or thing comes into my life and gives me the solution today. I don't care what it is. I don't care where it comes from. It'll probably be something I never even thought of, because it would have to be something I never thought of, because I've been stuck on the worst day cycle, replaying my trauma gut, thinking and feeling the exact same thing. So the only way I'm going to get a new solution and a new outcome is to have something completely new. It can't be from me, because the me that is here has created all this dysfunction. It has to be a new me. And so that's why the question, man, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to create the new me. Some person, place, or thing is going to come into my life and help me see this from a new perspective. And it'll probably be, the answer is going to come in a way I never even thought possible. Because the only way I thought possible over here has repeated the cycle and the trauma gut. And that's how we reclaim and find our intuition. Now, if you don't know how to do that, if you want the full process, if you're like where I was years ago, where I don't care what it is, I need to know now, then please go to my website, www.thegreatnessuniversity.com, and go to the tab that says Masterclasses. There's a series of 7 masterclasses that teaches you the process to heal all of this and turn your life around and become an expert in shifting your emotions so you can create the person you were meant to be. It's really the journey back to yourself, to who you were meant to be, to your original intuition and emotion. It shows you that process. You can also book a personal appointment with me. You can purchase my book. You can join my private group. All of those are tabs. Pick whatever works for you. If you're not ready to commit to that, that's fine. Just read the articles, watch the videos. The point is this. It is a great resource. It is the perfect resource for you to start learning how to get rid of your trauma gut, how to stop the worst day cycle, how to reclaim your life, and live in the greatest version of yourself. If you think this will help somebody, please share it. Please leave me your comments, and as always, enjoy the journey.